You know, we got in at night at the airport and you couldn't tell at all. It didn't feel any different. And then I woke up and there was that insane view. And then we went out in Arusha that first morning and the bustling and the women and these gorgeous congas and just people constantly walking and honking.
Pretty much everyone was so welcoming. And if you're a tourist, there are people who will come offer their services or ask you for money or try to sell you stuff just everywhere you go. You know, there's so many sounds and smells that are just kind of overwhelming. It's really interesting.
The tribes members from the Maasai from Longido met us, I think it was about 7:30 in the morning, drove us 2.5 hours up to Longido. And the first day they'd arranged for us to do a big hike of their sacred mountain, Mount Longido. We were hiking up at what I thought was a decent pace, really killing ourselves. And 2 hours in, our guide, Alicia, was just like, wow, you guys are going so slow. Like, I could run up this. And, like, he demonstrated it for us, and it's ridiculous.
It almost looks like Texas, where I'm from, kind of the hill country. It's dusty, and there's cattle, and there's cows. I was like, oh, this almost feels like home.
And then that night, we were all just hanging out and saw a group of little children kind of just peering at us through the fence. So I went over and just kind of started hand gesturing, soccer ball, like playing. And so they ended up coming over, about 20 little kids, running around playing soccer, playing catch, playing tag, just kind of hanging out. For me, soccer's always just kind of been a universal way to bring people together, and it definitely proved that in Tanzania.
And then now I want to put water. After the water boils, then you put the rice.
That was really fun. We were all in this tiny little kitchen, you know, taking turns scraping out coconut, and the mamas were doing most of the cooking. We were just watching. There's just this kind of great party atmosphere in the room.
Oh, hold on, I'm explaining about chapati. You take wholemeal flour and you add some salt and like a big spoonful of sugar, and then you heat up a bunch of oil
chapati.
And you add, like, knead all that in, and then you add in a bunch of water.
And then there's a more or less like a fried rice dish, pilau, that was really good. So, and then fried chicken. They give us a great recipe on that. Jefferson is a free library in Gangangare, which is a small little village in between Arusha and Moshi. And the QT students are the qualifying test students that either could not afford secondary school or didn't get into secondary school, but still want to take the secondary qualifying test.
The Jefferson program gives them a chance to get an education. You have people who are 35 who are coming in and taking classes, who are trying to become lawyers, and so on and so forth. It's certainly an uphill fight for them, but they can theoretically progress through the grades.
So Thomas Jefferson, he was a politician, but he was also a farmer, and he also was the first archaeologist in the United States. He led the first archaeology excavation in the United States.
To get from our lodge to Jefferson, it's a 30 to 45-minute walk. Passing by people, passing by the different dukas, the different stores along the sides of the road, seeing what people are doing with their everyday lives. I found it just inspiring. You look to the west and you've got Mount Meru just shadowing over top of you.
We had one day where a group of orphans came, and I think they just ran into the building, like jumping on us, begging us to read to them, to play with them.
Oh, they literally jumped and would not let go, just cling to you. And their English was perfect. They were so sweet. Soon, a thief named Gazim rode up to them and held out the missing half, the scarab medallion. When Jafar put the two halves together...
Just their, like, unbridled enthusiasm for everything was great, and I think I really, like, thrived off of that.
While we were at Jefferson, we had the opportunity to take a side trip to the Faraja School, which is a school that was started by some supporters of the Jefferson Scholars Foundation. It's a school that was built for children that have physical handicaps. A lot of the children are orphans. They were all incredibly happy, super excited, and they came right on up to our group and started shaking our hands and talking to us and introducing themselves, and they wanted to show us their rooms and sang a song to us before we ate lunch. They graduated 7 or 8 students last year, and I know that all of them went on to secondary school, which is miraculous. But it's a very different experience to have a handicap in a third world country than it is to have a handicap in the United States.
These were 10 students who all lead very busy, very different lives, involved in different things at the university. So it just really fostered an environment where the 10 of us were able to spend lots of time just hanging out and getting to know each other.
I think the reflection time that we had was a really important part of the trip.
We each had millions of thoughts going through our head every day with all the completely new things we were seeing, we're experiencing, all the new people we were meeting, and a lot of us had kind of conflicted feelings about our actual purpose of being on this trip.
Essentially, in many ways, we were tourists. And when you go to a place which is a developing nation, one of the 20 poorest nations in the world, there's certainly some kind of moral dilemma.
I think we all just learned an incredible amount from the trip, and I think that's probably what I got the most out of it, is just seeing a place I never would have seen and just learning an incredible amount about a different culture and just a different lifestyle.